Hello and welcome to Goa 365's Face to Face. Now with me here is somebody who I have known over the years. In fact, when he was in his official, so as say, capacity, I have seen him in many situations, whether it is investigation or whether it is riot control. I don't think some of the things even he remembers. But a good friend of mine, recently retired IPS officer, Bosco George. Bosco Bab, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Now, today he is not here in the avatar as a tough, straight cop. One of the few that I have seen across the years, my years as a journalist. But he is more in a slightly more on the human side, the humanitarian side. And he's in fact is just back from a trip to the the very badly affected northeast state Manipur. Bosco Bab, tell us. I want to speak. We'll speak to you about your the past life. So in your new avatar, what is it you plan to do? Let's get back to Manipur later. But as of now, tell us what you want to do now.
See, the main thing is I've had a very nice innings in the police department.
Yes.
Difficult situations, but on the whole, I think the entire package, you can say, I left the department on a high note. Without any regrets, without any look to look.
You were DIG, no? When
yes,
you retired.
Yes. So I left the department.
Only go on DIG, I think, till date, right? Yeah. Okay.
So the thing was, I was given so much by society, whether it was the press, whether the people, whether the citizens. Now I think it's my turn to give back to society in a way that can be from a non-policing way. So during that, while in the department, I got associated with, the police always had a problem with people on the streets.
Correct.
What do you do? People call up and say, someone is sleeping on my footpath and this and that. What do you do? Now, how do you deal with social welfare or what, anything? At that point, I got in touch with Street Providence and Donald, the managing trustee of this thing. And then he said, see sir, we will pick up, but your police people are not cooperating with us. So then I was able to get a meeting done, called all the officers in charge of police stations during our crime meeting, and I called Donald also. And then afterwards I said, see, this person is helping people on the street and it will lift up our burden. So we have to do something. So then we sort of, then DIG, Mr. Rajesh Kumar, he put out a circular SOP as to how we have to get.
I see, official.
Yeah. Officially, I got it, this thing. So if in case if the police, if someone called the police that so and so, he will call this thing. He will call the Street Providence. They will come. Their documentation of the person who's on whether he has an Aadhaar card, whether some identity, whether he's a criminal, non-criminal. So building up of this data, and it started gelling very well. And in the process, I think he now has 8 shelter homes. So after retirement, I told him that what we had started then, I'm ready to come to assist you as a volunteer in any capacity, except don't ask me to pick up the people from the street, because I never
expect you to do that anyway.
So he says, so he was very happy. And then whenever there was any this thing to speak to any governmental department, to speak to some secretary, we just started opening up. So then then he called me. He said, sir, see, this is happening in Manipur. Suppose will you able to, so we are sending all this food stuff and dry ration and everything. Will you able to volunteer and go there? I said, definitely. So again, I used my
good offices,
yeah, my past good offices with the concern, and this thing. Now they also, when you as an ex-government servant, as an ex-IPS officer, when you approach them, they even feel there is some credibility in what you're doing. And so in the process, many doors were opened that I was able to meet the governor and explain to her, this is what our work is. We have nothing political, nothing this thing. We are here to help the people of victims of violence and how best we can this thing. After I'll tell you how we have helped and what we intend also doing further this thing.
But this thing is completely different from your original role, right? How many years you were in the 30 years?
36.
Yeah. That's completely different, right?
No, but like if we could say, even when in the department, you sometimes see things and you
can't do anything
you are
about
handicapped that you can't do. What is to be done in this and that? Correct. And like I still remember there was once a case. I was sitting in the a station house officer with the head constable, saying as a young sub inspector over there. So a lady came, Baba Maka complain the upak. So he said, okay, my and this and me took her. After that she was leaving, she took out 10 rupees and she was giving. I said, Kidak? Na lok munta ki thinga police wo to will my complain the upak daru. So then I told our staff, see, look at our image. This cannot be this thing.
Yes.
And that was the thing. So that's when, we have to be that help. We may not able to do something, but at least if we have this thing to listen to them, many things can.
But the police reputation has not changed much over the years, unfortunately.
No, you see, no.
There are a few approachable policemen. There are a few, and like me, I've been very much in touch with the police over the years. Now may not be so much in my present position over the past year, but the image is not still not so good.
I'll tell you a small joke. Like it happened. It happened like we have to go and meet the public. We have to put on our best performance.
Correct.
So see, the senior
community policing.
Community policing. The senior officers told this thing. So he says, whenever someone comes to ask him to sit down, then afterwards give him a glass of water or tea, and then take down his complaint. So now, see, this was conveyed. Now, how it goes into
implementation is a different matter.
So someone came, so he told, come, sit down over here. That fellow got a shock of his life. So he said, now drink water. Now what's your problem? See, what was conveyed, he did. But then after how it was. So that fellow, he says, no, I don't want a complaint, because he was most scared. Why the police are trying to take my complaint? So that, it is always work in progress. We are
but how can you blame? Like, see, this same person is on bandobast. Then he does investigation. Then sometimes he's on duty. It's tough. You need what do you say? You need proper training. Because I know, like I've seen, we hear every day people like abusing the cops. They abuse journalists also. They abuse the cops. They're this, they're that. But these people have not been there on duty with 24/7 on the road.
We represent the establishment.
See,
all other department goes to sleep.
Inside.
We are the only department who is visible on the streets. Correct. And then after, who do you abuse?
Frustration. So now this is a way of, as you said, giving back to society. But also, there has to be some reason, some logic, or was this planned or was it just happened?
Like I said, while in the department, because this thing took place, and I found that Donald is really a genuine person trying to work, and he's always man of action, always working out. His mind is, I don't know, he doesn't have this thing. If this is completed, then this has to be done. This has to be. He has always, that enthusiasm I found in him. I think even I can't compete with that enthusiasm. So because of that, I said, yes, I will help out in any aspect. We can do something. And I think that gives you great satisfaction to do. So nothing was planned, but yes, when he told me, sir, will you take a delegation and go to Manipur with this thing?
What is the scene? What is the scene in Manipur?
Now see, it's it is a sensitive issue, and it has a lot of complications. A lot of fault lines are there within the society.
I think that's in every society, but in this case, it's more marked.
It is more pronounced, you can say. You see, we have, going back little in the history, Manipur was a kingdom.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the funny part is the entire state, all round the state, the capital is Imphal. Now, Imphal is the valley, and all round
Mountains.
are hills. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the funny thing is 80% of the population lives in the valley.
I see.
20% of them live in the hill.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the people from the valley were always in the ruling class. They were the people who, they were the kings and everything, Shastras and all, were all was the, so they are the Methi people. The people on the hills were either the Kukis or the Nagas, the different Naga tribes. So they, in fact, the most of this thing is the Tankuls, which if you may know in the Naga peace talks that Movia is he's a Tankul from Manipur, although he's fighting for Nagaland, for the entire.
But they were the headhunters. No?
Yeah, you can say. Yeah, so and
the Naga regiment is feared.
Yeah, so that was this thing. So this is, and 20% of the people are so you can say that 80% of the land mass of Manipur is practically hills and jungles and less people, and only 20% of the people are living on 80% of people are living in 20% of the land mass.
Flat land. That is flat. Okay.
So then it's so history goes back that it's, as you said, the Nagas were headhunters and everything. So they used to attack the plains.
Okay.
Come down, take, and this thing, and that way. Now the Meithis at that point of time, they took the Kukis and established them along the foothills in order to buffer against the Nagas. Okay, that was more in general, ancient this thing. So there was a long animosity between Nagas and Kukis, which afterwards has over the period it has died down with a lot of reconciliation and all these things. Now another thing arose is that these 20% of the Kukis and the Nagas were declared as STs. The Meithis, when they were given the chance, they said, no, we are a class above this thing. They are, if they are tribals, okay, we are not tribals, we are some this thing. Now, due to the reservation, if you go to see, maximum jobs were cornered by Kukis and Nagas.
Okay.
Basically Kukis, because they are very hardworking, very, because it is survival for them. So today, if you go to see, like in this combined civil service for the cadre of Manipur, if there are 10 civil service officers, 8 would be Kukis and Nagas, and only the same. So all these over a period, this resentment has been building on, and sometime or the other, these clashes were taking place. But now it has come to such an extent that the sad part is that the people from the hills who were working in the valley have gone to the hills. The people who were in the hills from the plains, they have come down to the plains. So there is a
major divide. Fault line.
Yeah.
So, but that is sad, no? Because this thing there will be repercussions, especially given that
it is a spillover effect over the other states also. Everyone giving ultimatums.
You do this, you do that.
But like I said, being this such a sensitive, I have not got into this sensitive this thing, because then after you say something, one or the other community will feel bad. So this thing is to actually focus on the humanity, because finally it is the human being who you see over there, and what can you do for them?
But okay, I know you're not going to comment on it, but you've been a police officer.
Yeah.
Basically, the law and order has completely failed. Otherwise, you never would have reached this stage, right?
Yeah.
Because see, I have not worked in with the police in Manipur or Meghalaya or anywhere else, but I have worked with the police in Karnataka. I worked with the police in Maharashtra, even in Delhi, in Goa. Though, of course, I don't know if you remember. I used to go with you all for so many of you. So, if the cops and if the authorities really want to crack down on anything, I don't think anything can stop it. And especially the army, we have a very professional force. So if it is going on for 2-3 months, that means it has failed completely. That, as a policeman, in your professional opinion, I'm not going to put you on a spot, but as a professional, I mean, that's obvious, no?
Yeah, like when we were going, if I'm stopped by a police officer during a law and order situation, I have to respect it.
Correct. I think most
But-
people in India
yeah,
would.
no, I have to accept that this is the thing.
Okay.
But if I am going to be stopped by communities, either way, either of the communities after the police have cleared me, then what do you say?
That means basically the administration, forget, I was talking about law and order, now administration has failed basically. Looks like, I don't know.
No, that's what you feel, you know. How are you, because you have to impress upon them that, see, these things that we are taking is for your own communities who are victims of violence. Then after
No, but that's not the point here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely not. The
Correct,
point
correct.
is that, I mean,
That's true.
it's almost 3 months, I think, 2-3
Yeah,
months,
2
I
months,
think, 80,
right.
70, 80 days,
For May,
whatever it
for
is.
May, June,
yeah,
July.
yeah. So if still if the state government and it's the same.
One thing I can tell you, you know, that when we met the governor, she herself
Must have
was,
been
you
in a
know,
state of shock.
she was finding it so difficult, like, you know, how to deal. She said, I started calling the MLAs who had left the place. Please come and stay
The
with your
union
people."
minister's house has been burned twice. So what more you want?
Yeah, that's true. So, and she was, I think, very happy that we, from a small state of Goa, coming over there to help out at the same. And when we impressed upon her, ma'am, for the last couple of months, this is what we have sent nearly 33 tons of dry ration.
I see.
Then because again, and all this again, it is not we go there and give them. We have gone and we have coordinated with the church, the Archbishop of this thing, and I think those priests are doing wonderful job. I mean, they were driving the vehicles for this
I see.
when we were going, showing us the place, and all our dry rations. Then after the innerwear for the women, then we sent more than 1,000 biodegradable sanitary pads, pampers for the children and all. I mean, all this is due to excellent coordination with the church authorities. And when you come to think that the Catholic Church, the Catholic, this thing is just 1 lakh. Little bit,
Out of?
if I'm not mistaken, about 15 to 20 lakhs of the entire population of this
I
thing.
see.
Yeah. There is more of
But they say there it is like 53, 41
yeah,
Christian.
but you know,
Hindu.
when you classify them as Christians,
Okay.
you classify. But the Catholics per se is just
Very
limited.
less.
very
So most of
less.
them are like Protestants.
Most
and
of
they are-
because I think the head start were the American Baptist and all these people. They much preceded much earlier for evangelization in the hills as compared to the Catholic Church.
there are no Christian these NGOs and all doing anything for this.
There may be.
No.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But then after the camp where we went, it was, there are 4 districts that we took. Chura, Chandpur, Chandel and all these things. So over there were more Protestants, and then after the pastor himself was so happy that we were able to be of assistance to all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you feel is the future now? Because ultimately, for India to prosper, because we are one country, northeast, southeast, east, west, whatever. We need stability. We need people to work together, because a businessman is not going to work where there is instability. And ultimately, you need money, you need economic progress, you need development, you need all these things. Which, of course, today the government is saying, when any other government comes in 24 or 25, there will be another. They will talk the same thing. But for development to actually happen, you need very, very boring status quo. No problems, no issues, nothing. So this thing has to be sorted out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think sending dry rations
Correct.
is the solution.
It's not the solution.
It's a band-aid.
Yeah. You know, I see, maybe I'm not geared up to answer that. But,
But I'm not talking about, I'm talking about in general.
In general, but I'll give you a very this thing. One day you do call Mr. John Silsey.
Okay.
He's a retired IPS officer of the Manipur cadre.
Okay.
He has dealt with terrorists and all this thing. I mean, he has gone to and fortunately he settled in Goa.
I see.
Okay.
We should talk
So
to him.
you should. I mean, he's a person who will. He has written beautiful 2 books on the history of all these things, which was like a guidance to me and all.
Okay.
And before going, also I was in touch with him and everything. And this man, I think he'll able to enlighten our people, your audience also, like what are the solutions for this thing of Manipur. Like for me, it is like, you know, I find it very difficult to believe that there are I mean, it has reached such a point that
People,
I don't
communities
see-
are, there's a buffer zone. Like
there's
we
a-
are watching some, I mean, like some visual. There was literally a buffer zone.
Yeah.
Guys with guns this side, guys with. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
ridiculous. And we claim to be. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I should not get political. And we claim to be a superpower in our own state. This is in like in our own one of our own states. This is happening means
Yeah.
somebody has failed. I'm not
You're
saying who
right,
and
you're
what.
right.
Somebody has
And
failed
it's-
very badly.
And I'm sure the government of India, see, the government of India has a long sustaining power to having negotiated with these people, very patient, given them a lot of concessions and
Believe
everything.
it.
But the time has come now to act in this particular situation.
Because the way you act here is going to be seen
Yeah.
in not only in
Yeah.
this state, in all lots of
Yeah.
states all over. We, as it is, we have a red corridor and a white corridor and a blue corridor all over the place. So something I don't know, but it's very sad. I feel sad for my fellow Indians, and I feel sad for the people from there.
Correct.
So. Are you optimistic? Ultimately, you think we will find a solution to this? As we say, Indians, we have this jugaad.
Yeah.
Somehow
That's
we
true.
may-
Somehow in the, see, if you go to see, since independence, no part has, of the Indian India has ever, they have gone to the extreme.
and then come back.
They have come back and they have come back. So it will return. So yes, we have, but you know, within the own this thing, there are the jugaad is there to make it a
Sort it
success. There is no, you see, fortunately our constitution is pretty flexible to the extent to give even the most vulnerable and the person most this thing out of place a sense of the Indianness that is there, and it will come. It has to come out.
I hope. Only thing is, the longer it takes, the
It-
more
yeah.
the innocent people are going to get
Yes,
affected.
yes,
and that
yes,
is the only thing.
yes.
And then we'll, unnecessarily. See, we want to be seen. I'm sure you, me, all of us. We want to be seen as a developed country, developed state.
Correct.
We want to sort out the issue. We don't want an issue to be brought up and then somebody else says, no, but this happened there. That's why this happened. That's politics.
I mean, the people, when we were saying, he says in the last couple of years, like, because, okay, tension was there, but these things were not happening. So much of things came in. They were development. There was some industries, this, that were coming up. And suddenly there is breaks now. It's not going to, this thing. And really it is affecting their economy.
Everybody. It will affect
Yeah,
everybody, no? Because
that's it.
ultimately, business, economy needs very boring,
Yeah.
no problems, good law and order, good administration.
Like I was watching one of those narco films.
Yeah.
The politicians over there, they made deals with the narcos for the simple reason they wanted the status quo.
Exactly. So then you can do business, no? Otherwise you can't do.
Otherwise
It's
you
tough.
can't do.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
that's true.
It's tough. Thanks, Bosco Bob. It's been interesting, and we will. We'll be in touch with you
Yeah.
regarding. We'll see how this goes. But I just hope for.
I'll just end by
Yeah,
saying
sure.
that, in the long run, now there are many children who are, their education has been disrupted.
Affected,
And
yes.
through this, this thing, we appealed. About 300 children, we got names.
Okay.
If when people can sponsor their tuition fee, boarding fees and all these things, it's per year 40,000 it is. And I appeal to the people, like, Donald Street, Providence, get in touch with them. We will, many of the children who have, schooling has been disrupted because the schools have been burned down and all. So the church is taking them and putting them in other Catholic schools. Okay. And they will be, their name, their details and everything, this is the amount. So the benefactor, we are not going to collect the money, you give directly. To the school, you give it to the institution, so that, we are just felicitating this thing so that it doesn't, so it can be helpful. So this is one of the, this thing
That's
that
something that, and maybe we can help you on
Yeah,
that in
yeah,
a more systematic
Yeah,
way. I said. But anyway, I hope that this thing is sorted out. I hope that the political parties don't keep it political and
Yeah.
actually do
Keep
the
the
joy.
pot boiling.
Yeah, because elections are coming up and all that, both sides, and make it. I think law
has
and
to
order
come.
should prevail.
Yeah.
Administration should prevail. Governance, if we are a developed country, this governance and law and order should not actually get affected by anything or anybody.
That's right.
Thanks, Bosco Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it was an interesting talk, and we will keep an eye. We are keeping an eye on, and we will keep an eye and see how this goes on, and our sympathies to the people from that state, and hope things go back to normal soon enough. Thank you,
Thank
and
you
keep
very
watching
much. Thank you very much. Exactly.
Goa 365.